Hey, Zoeb, how are you, man? It's Dean Norris here, a.k.a. ASAC Hank Schrader, from what I hope is your favorite show, Breaking Bad. I think it is, because your awesome girlfriend of 1 year, Stephanie, tells me that you have a Breaking Bad podcast through Midnight Double Feature. Is that correct? Midnight Double Feature Breaking Bad podcast. That is awesome, man. Well, I hope you have some fun stuff to say and insights into the show. Well, listen, congratulations on your 1 year anniversary with your girlfriend there, man. That's awesome. Congratulations. It's great to find someone to love and share life with. So I hope you guys have a great time together. I hope you continue hanging out together. I'm not going to say wedding or anything yet, but, maybe in the future. So listen, enjoy your 1 year anniversary. Congratulations. And much luck, man, on your Breaking Bad podcast. I'll have to check it out. All right, man? Have a great one. And remember, don't break bad. Have a good one, man. Congratulations. Bye.
Midnight Double Feature presents Bad Crystal, a Breaking Bad podcast. On this episode, we bring you Season 3, Episode 1, No Mas, written by Vince Gilligan and directed by Bryan Cranston. For your message, Dean Norris.
You think he's really going to check us out?
No.
Yeah. I would be amazed if all of a sudden it was just like Dean Norris wants to talk to you, but
dude, Dean, yeah, it's like the official Dean Norris wants to add you as a friend. It's like, what?
What?
No, but like, dude, that was such an awesome thing to happen, and like I just totally lost my mind, and I had to play it here right at the top of Season 3, man. Like I was just like, God damn, what a way to start Season 3.
Yeah,
what a way to start Season 3 of Bad Crystal,
Zoeb, what's going on, man? It's
dude,
Dean Norris.
He said my name so well. Like I was just like, he didn't like fuck it up or anything like that. And Steph was like, when I wrote the instructions, I didn't even like give him like an enunciation or anything. It was just like, here you go, just read it.
He's probably Googling like a motherfucker. He's like, God, I don't want to sound like some honky. Zahib? Okay, there we go. Yeah, Zahib.
Nailed it. Guys, welcome back to Bad Crystal, a Breaking Bad podcast where we talk about Breaking Bad and all things Breaking Bad. We're about to jump into Season 3. Thank you so much again for joining us. We are Midnight Double Feature. I'm Zoheb. That's Colin. I don't know why I'm reintroducing ourselves. I don't know why you just jump in here in Season 3 to kick it off. I mean, like, go back and listen to our last 2 seasons of coverage. But I'm really excited for this. I'm really excited to jump back into it. We've got a lot happening at Midnight Double Feature. In addition to our usual main feed on Midnight Double Feature where we cover all things movies. It is currently October at the moment, which is Halloween season. So we're covering all things scary and spooky and things that go bump in the night. So that's all well and good. That's all fun. I think by the time this episode comes out on the Breaking Bad feed, we'll have been done by all of that. We'll be done with all that, so whatever. But look, we also are very, very committed to our bonus members. So that's the Green Room. If you do want to hear us talk about more things, it's not just movies, it's not just TV, it's things that we have going on in our personal lives, it's our beliefs, like, we talk about ghosts and stuff just recently, we shoot the shit, we just talk about different topics. We definitely do have more movie and TV content on there, different coverages, more coverage of stuff. So if you do want to check it out, it's patreon.com/midnight double feature. We love all of our green room members. You guys, your support means the absolute world to us, and we can't thank you enough. So thank you so much. If you do want to check out our socials, they're right there in the show notes on whatever app you're using, whether it's Spotify or Apple or iTunes or whatever. And please rate and review us on iTunes. This show, whether it be Bad Crystal or Midnight Oil Feature, that helping us by reviewing us on iTunes helps us immensely. So that would be very much appreciated if you can go.
Yeah,
ahead
they
and do that.
they have to do one or the other though. They can't do both. They can't possibly do
Right.
both. They have to pick one or the other one.
No. Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, it's literally like a fork in the road. Do I go right or do I go
It's
left?
Sophie's choice of Midnight Double Feature.
For sure. All right, let's get into this, man. Let's get into season 3, episode 1. How you doing? How you feeling, Colin? How you feeling being back? We've taken a bit of a hiatus, so is everything still kind of like fresh in your mind?
Yeah, most of it. It's good. I feel well rested. I was starting this episode and just so confused right off the bat. But we, starting off the new season, because we had kind of a gap between it, I was like, oh, okay, cool. At least it's the end of one season going into another one, and it's not like you took a huge break in the middle of a season. That would be totally different. But it really kind of took me a second just to kind of have like a recap and be like, okay, so where were we when stuff left off? It's pretty hard to forget that finale with the plane blowing up and everything. And, it's pretty hard to forget that. But I was like, okay, I just want to remember where all of our characters are and stuff. But I think this is a good introduction to the third season. I think it's got a lot of mystery with the two. I don't think that they're twins, but they definitely are. They twins? I don't think
They're twins.
Are they? Okay. I was like,
in real life they are.
Okay.
Well. Yeah.
Okay. Word. There's definitely some good mystery going on there. And, the whole thing with Gus and seeing the stuff like the fallout between Skyler and Walter, that's almost seemed like it's happened off screen. For a minute, I was like, did they just not show this on this? And then they kind of get into it, later on in the episode. But I thought this was, a good way to kick off the season. You see all the characters, even the, kind of the more minor ones at the moment, like, oh my God, Dean Norris's character. Jesus Christ. Hank. Now all I can think is Dean Norris. Hank and Marie, even though we only see a little bit of them, it shows you where everybody's at. It's a good, but we also kind of hang on our centerpieces. So I think it's really good, especially Jesse's stuff. For how little he's in this, that's really good. That's some like Batman coming out of the pit and Dark Knight Rises type shit. So I thought it was really good. I'm excited to get into the episode.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, man. I think this is a fantastic season opener. Not only does it tease the danger of what's to come in the rest of the season and the show going forward with the twins, but we also get a bit of a look into what's happening with Walt, what his mindset is. I mean, 167 people are dead pretty much kind of by your hands indirectly, but also not really indirectly. So how are you dealing with that? And, very much in Walt's character, it's him deflecting. It's him kind of like, downplaying everything. But at the same time with Jesse and what Jesse's learning in therapy is not only applicable to Jesse, but it's applicable to Walt as well, right? Like there's this whole thing about moving on and accepting who you are, and all of that, and it's really profound by the writers, I think, like to be able to take what one character is learning and directly apply to that character, but also in the background indirectly have it apply to a different character like Walt. I think this is a fantastic season opener. I think Bryan Cranston did a great job in directing it. One thing I really love about this show is this whole idea of like show, don't tell. Like, there's this, like, especially when we get into the opener here, like this kind of like crawling scene. There's a lot of like showing and not telling. And with the twins, it's going to be a lot of that because the twins don't talk at all. So the show is kind of forced to really visually tell the audience what's happening rather than through dialogue. So, as they're like crawling, Yeah, by the way, I since in our hiatus since between season 2 and 3, I've seen the show entirely again. The
Jesus.
whole thing from start to finish, and Better Call Saul from start to finish, because Steph was watching it and I just joined her. So I watched this season opener with her, and like it had the exact effect of what Vince Gilligan and company were going for, because she's like, "What the fuck are they doing? Like, like what are they? Why are they crawling? Why
Yeah.
are they messing up their suits? Like, who are these guys?" And then like you kind of find out that it is some kind of like sort of like traditional, I guess. What's the word? Like a traditional kind of
A
like
festive, I don't want to say
Yeah.
ritual. Ritual has a negative connotation to it.
right
Custom,
yeah.
a
Like
custom, a
custom
festive
custom was the word I was trying to think of.
there you
Yeah,
go.
like a traditional custom of, I guess, paying tribute to Santa Muerta, who is this, I guess, saint of death, right? I mean, like that's what it means, translates to.
Like to
So
put that on my
yeah,
resume. That'd be nice. Saint of Death.
Saint of Death, 10th of December, 1993 to current. Yeah, all right, man. No, I think this is a great episode. What do you say we get right into it?
I'm down. Let's do it.
My first note in capital letters: Mexico, because sepia tone.
Oh, dude. This is like, you remember when everybody got MacBooks in like the early 2000s and everybody did the four square Warhol
The white
different
MacBooks.
Yes. Yes, and everybody had that four square like multicolor thing. Like that's what and I'm still confused. I guess the jury is still kind of, I never really looked at sepia. I say sepia tone.
Sepia. Sepia. I've heard people say both.
Sepia sounds weird, but anyway, sepia. It's tough to remember. It's like, okay, this isn't like a brand new show that hasn't been done to fucking death yet,
right.
At this point. But it definitely, as soon as they throw that filter on, it's like the back of your head just goes like,
right.
Like it just slide guitars and rattlesnakes and stuff. So they know what they're doing visually. It's very inflating. It definitely gives you that sense of what they're going for.
Well, it's interesting because like where I've seen this kind of like filter you used before Breaking Bad is CSI Miami, and like this tone is also used for Miami. Like, I mean, you'll see it in like Bad Boys 2 because they're operating in Miami. It's very filtered. Like everything's like hot and like like sweaty. But then like I guess they also do it in LA as well. So I don't know. Maybe we're just talking out of our ass here, but yeah. But yeah, look, man, this whole opening is wild. There's a whole nother level of what the fuck is happening here. We, of course, meet this immaculately dressed pair of twins who observe who are creepily crawling up to the shrine of Santa Muerta, where they place a drawing of Heisenberg on the shrine. I mean, again, just pretty great storytelling. I mean, just no dialogue, right? It's all music, it's all visuals. And the twins are entirely silent, but you get a sense of intensity from them. By the way they're dressed, by the way they're looking at each other. They've got the fucking death's head skulls on their shoes.
Yeah,
that these guys are ready to fuck, right?
Honestly, these guys would make great Terminators. Like just absolutely great Terminators.
Yes.
That would do
perfect.
Oh, so good. But yeah, and I'm like, okay, so these guys, they put up this thing, and Walter is like, judging from what happens at the end of the episode, I'm kind of like, okay, so they're after Walter, but I feel like this is like, maybe it's like a good luck ritual to them, or a good luck custom for them to like, hey, we're going for a kill. Let's go, pay our dues and stuff. And then, maybe we'll be in the good graces of whatever. But what is that? It made me, oh shit, what movie is that where he was like, I want to kill blah, blah, blah. And I can't remember. I can't remember what that is. I think I'm drawing a blank. I hate that. I hate getting old.
You think about it. You think about it. But like what I was, I mean, like it's not a spoiler to say that this doesn't really come up again. No one really references the twins visiting the shrine and, putting the Walter White note on the shrine. So I think you're kind of like on the money when you say it's it's probably like a good luck thing, right? Like, I mean, like, God is on our side. The angel of death is on our side.
So
we've
it's
got this,
Rocky going to see the priest in Rocky 2 before the fight,
Good reference.
Father Carmine! Father Carmine! I love that guy.
Father Carmine!
Oh. And the fact that he just speaks Italian the whole time and Rocky just speaks English back to him. It's like, so one of both of you understand. I'm kind of confused here.
This doesn't need to happen.
Yeah.
But look, there's this weird look of like determination on the people's faces as they crawl to the shrine. Like it feels so medieval. Like, it feels so kind of like removed. Like, it's just like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, I love it. Like, what a great kind of like confusing but also engrossing way to open the episode, to open the season. I really enjoy this. A great introduction to these new villains. So we get the title card, right? And then we get these news reports reporting on Wayfarer 515. We know that there's a large debris field as a result of a mid-air collision with a smaller aircraft. The death toll stands at 167, caused by improper air traffic control. It was a mistake by a lone ATC employee, Don Margolis. I love the overlapping reports, right? It's so overbearing and it's so kind of like in your face. But like it's exactly what the media would be doing in a situation like that. I mean, like it's a mid-air collision over Albuquerque would probably get this level of media coverage, if not bigger.
Yeah, especially anything post 9/11 like that. Yeah, you're going to see that on CNN for like 2 days. And also, Definitely. By the way, I apologize. There's a thunderstorm about to head outside, so you might hear some thunder. I almost said you might hear some lightning, so you might hear some thunder. So if you hear it, don't freak out. You're not caught in the death zone or anything.
Nice. We get reacquainted with Walt, who's burning matchsticks by the pool. What do you think about that? Do you think it's like his like thought process?
Kind of
a couple times.
It feels like the little kid in Frankenstein plucking the petals off the flower and throwing them in the water. That's kind of what it feels like. But the adult, like deadly version of it's just playing with matches. But I think it also shows just how many times he's been like, all right, I'm going to do it. And then he just extinguishes, all right, I'm going to do it. And then it finally gets the last one. It's like, you got to do it now. I think it shows you Walt won't do it unless you put a gun to his head. It's like you literally, this is the last chance that you have to do this, So I think that it shows that's how, I don't know, kind of almost like a microcosm of how he reacts to stuff. It's like he's not going to break until it's like absolutely necessary.
Well, I mean, like as if to illustrate your point, like right here, he goes to burn his blood money in what is probably like a moment of clarity, but he quickly changes his mind because that's who he is, right? Like he's incredibly clever and manipulating, but he really often leaps without looking, right? I mean, like he does this a lot, like throughout the show, where he does something and then he immediately regrets it. He goes back on it. It's really, really interesting, like just his thought process. But dude, I love him trying to put out the fire on his sleeve and then just kind of like jumping in the pool.
Right.
He's such a fucking dunce. He is such a dunce, dude. Hey, quick question for you. So, United States money, is that salvageable? Like when it goes in the pool and...
I don't know. I mean, maybe some of it, but I mean, he's lost a lot of that money, for sure. Like,
so you can't get it back. Like it's not because like look, I've got a note here. Our money is like coated in like plastic. So, like, I mean, if it gets wet, it doesn't rip. So, I remember, like, when I converted my money to, like, US cash when I went to go visit it, it just crumples and rips, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, half of your economy, dude, is, like, a ripped-up cash.
Well, and 70% of it is, I think they said at some point, US currency, like, a large percentage of it had cocaine residue on it, where people just use the money. Apparently you can get the bills replaced as long as you still have over half of the bill. So for whatever reason, that's their measurement. That's what Google tells.
Replaced by who? The banks?
I maybe the Department of Treasury or something. Maybe I don't know. I have no idea. One of those places that exchanges cash with like tourists and shit. I don't fucking know.
All right. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting because I'm like, I don't know if that is that salvageable, but I guess it's more about the imagery of him trying to save his money. But yeah.
Yeah.
So Skylar's meeting with a lawyer, right? Big steps, big moves. She says we're in the process of moving him out. She's staying with Marie just temporarily so he can get his things. Dude, notice that Skylar and the lawyer are wearing the pink ribbons in remembrance of the aircraft disaster, and you get the teachers later wearing it, but not Walt, which is
Yeah, Hank's
a
even
nice
wearing
little
one at one point.
subtle thing. Yeah, exactly. Hank's wearing it too. So they're all wearing it in remembrance of the disaster,
Oh,
except
fuck
Walt.
them. It's like that
Except Walt.
It's like that yellow Livestrong bracelet, that was so hot, and then it's like, oh yeah, that guy's a piece of shit.
We're
Doper
trying
who
to
gets
tell a
tricked.
story here, Colin. Get your fucking shit. Get your shit out of this.
God. These people, good lord. It's like, oh, plane crash. Like, you know how many kids died to make the iPhone in your pocket? Shut the fuck up. Like, it just kind of made, it's like, oh my God, but it happened here. It's like, it's a tragedy, but like, good God, man. Like what Walter says at first, I'm like, yeah, like you'll get over it. Like you'll heal. And then he's like,
I feel like you've discovered who you are in this show. I feel like as we go deeper into Walter White's psyche, Colin really kind of like starts to discover himself and really starts to sympathize with him.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I mean,
one of
that is kind of how my brain works with like tragedy. It like compartmentalizes and rationalizes stuff, and that's exactly what Walt does. I totally agree with that.
It's important to Skylar that the kids stay with her, right? And she clams up when the lawyer asks whether her husband is employed. Lawyer says, I say, let's leave no stone unturned. You'd be amazed at what I've seen partners hide from one another. Nice.
She says that she's got like a bunch of kids' bodies under her floorboards and shit.
It's
her husband's like,
Bastards.
Yeah, where are all these kids' shoes coming from?
Oh shit! and that's probably true because she's a lawyer, right? She's a fucking vicious carnivorous beast.
Right, exactly, sadist.
Yeah, motherfucker. Hank rocks up to Walt to the White residence as Walt is gathering the last of his catch from the pool filter and finds the eye from the teddy bear that fell from the plane crash. A pretty interesting metaphorical kind of symbol, that he kind of like is pretty. He starts to develop a bit of an obsession with it throughout this episode. So like, he picks it up from the pool filter here. He looks at it longingly. And then like later before he drops it under the bed, he's looking at it. I guess it's just kind of like a reminder of something tragic that he may have had a hand in causing. And he's just kind of like living with it.
Yeah, well, it's the guilt stare. It's the people staring you in the face, It's like literally an eye looking at you. Ugh, spooky.
Yeah. Hank helps Walt pack his car, says he doesn't want to get in the middle of them two. He suggests retreating. Absence makes the says Hank. Dude, this thing with the bag is great.
Yeah.
$500,000 in cash, says Walt. His pride and need to live dangerously continues to like rear its ugly head, and it's again as we start to like unravel Walt's kind of like intellectual, like his psyche, like how he thinks or how he wants to think or how he wants to perceive himself or what gives him thrills. It's just really interesting. And like this isn't the first time we've seen him kind of like play with Hank, like, in terms of like just who he might be. But like he loves it. He loves this.
Yeah, he's the matador. He's the matador slapping the bull. Yeah. Which is I love the thought of
metaphors too.
I know. I love Walt just sitting there thinking about, you have no idea what that feels like, dude. You fucking bitch. You holding $500,000 and you have no idea. And he's like, man. Yeah, but it's not enough, He doesn't even like I don't even think Walt likes the anonymity of it. He wants him to know there's $500,000 in cash in that bag, but like can't. It's interesting.
We're reintroduced to Jesse, rather, who's planting Who's planting flowers at a rehab before we join in on his therapy session. And Jesse's definitely trying to apply himself here. Like, this is a different sort of Jesse that we've come to know. Like Jesse season 1 would not be this guy. Like, he's not going to sit here and, like, listen to these people talk about their problems. It's because of the trauma that he's experienced through, like, just these first 2 seasons that he's able to sit here and, like, actually take all this in. So I think Jesse's showing incredible growth just right here from season 1. Sorry, episode 1, season 3. Walt Jr. makes an appeal to Walt over the phone, wants him to take him to school, and obviously this is disappointing to Skyler because she didn't really, I don't know, she definitely anticipated it, but she didn't really account for how, I guess, frustrated Junior would be. Because one thing I'm going to get into a bit later is when when Walt drops Junior home, and Junior just says, "Why don't you come inside? It's your home, it's your house after all, right?" And he kind of like gives Walt this look of like, "Man, I'm so frustrated at you," and it really reminded me of like in season 1 or season 2, I can't remember which one, but when Junior just goes off at Walt for refusing the cancer treatment. Right, like he's like, "Why do you have to lie down and like take it and stuff?" I feel like this is like it's really Junior's very frustrated at just how much his dad lets life just roll over him, and I feel like if Walt was able to tell Junior the truth of, "Hey, I'm kind of like a meth manufacturer. I'm a dangerous guy. I'm a criminal," Junior would be surprised and probably impressed by that.
Yeah. As a high schooler would, "Oh, dude, that's awesome," and
right.
It's like,
yeah, it's interesting because like it's
crash.
another thing.
That was me.
I know. It's another thing of like, like just something that Walt can't convey to Junior, but at the same time, it might make his relationship with Junior a bit more healthier. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's like you with Walt. It's like you want to be the guy who is like, it's like, yes, you are the protector, and yes, you do put like the bread on the table and you're taking care of all this stuff financially, but he just can't take any credit for it. And it's like, if you could legitimately be like, "Yeah, I made all this money, I did all this stuff," I think that he would, be suited in both those. Like, the thing is, it's like, I don't know. It's such an interesting thing with Walt that we could just sit here and talk about forever, but I don't want to get like too deep into it, where it's like, he could have done something that got him the notoriety and brought him the money that doing, the stuff with gray matter in the first couple of seasons kind of touched on that. So it's like you had the opportunity to do something like that. And I think that Walt's just one of those, like, I'm not letting another opportunity go by that I could like really make a name for myself,
Oh, yeah, 100% agree, man. So, Walt receives a text message saying only the word "boyos." Dude, what do you think about Walt really focusing hard on cutting the crust off the sandwich? Because, I mean, like, I haven't really thought about this too much. What do you think about this?
Now, the guy that they killed in Jesse's basement, didn't he request that? Like, wasn't that something that he wanted? What didn't he want the crust cut off of his sandwich or something? Remember, he brings him down food.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's the only thing that I might even be reaching, because that was season 1, wasn't it?
That was season 1. That was crazy. Yeah.
Right. So I don't want to talk out of turn, but that's kind of what it made me think of. But it's like Walt, just, I don't know. I don't want to read too far into it. That's about the only thing that it really brought up into my mind. I mean, it's Walt cutting out the pieces of, and it's like, man.
No, that's actually really good. If we are kind of like getting up our own asses about it, then you could say that it might be a lesson that he took from Crazy 8, from that whole kind of situation.
Yeah.
But it's not the right lesson, right? Like, it's not the lesson that he should be taking away from it. It's interesting that he really kind of like brings that with him. Then we get this assembly scene at the school. This is man. This is a scene. Okay, so look. Firstly, this kid trying to get an automatic A before Carmen cuts him off. Interestingly, This is the same kid from a previous episode who was trying to get Walt to raise his grade. Do you remember that in the classroom?
No, damn, I forgot all about that. That's hilarious. My
Yeah.
my favorite part is the kid talking about the chair with the legs in it. Well, it's just, Jesus Christ, and it's like,
no, my favorite part of it is this girl who's brings religion into it, and Carmen's just like, can we just keep it secular, honey?
yeah, I guess, but like, I mean, that's a pretty. When you start questioning things, I guess it's a pretty common question. It's like, why?
Right.
Like,
Right.
hey, we're gonna bring a whole assembly and let everybody speak their feelings out. No, you shut the fuck up.
Right. Yeah. There's all these like rules and regulations that you need to abide by.
Mhm.
But I love these kids kind of like letting their thoughts known, and you already kind of like hinted at it. Like the camera pans to Walt so many times, and we see his like level of discomfort with it.
Uh-huh.
Like we see him kind of like it's like someone being interrogated and just kind of like squirming in their chair. Like it's really good to see. I mean, like it's really awesome to see. So Walt is handed the microphone after exclaiming "Jesus H Christ," and he brings up the Tenerife crash, the worst aviation disaster in history. Do you know much about this crash?
No, nothing.
I'm gonna do a bit of this is history time here on Midnight
Alright.
Feature on Bad Crystal Breaking Bad podcast. So the Tenerife crash is the worst disaster in aviation history. Tenerife is the largest of Canary Islands. It's a popular vacation spot when a terrorist bomb caused the Gran Canaria airport to close. Aircraft were diverted to the smaller Tenerife airport. Dense fog rolled in, greatly reducing visibility. Among the aircraft that were diverted to Tenerife were two Boeing 747 jets. Once the Gran Canaria reopened, the flights left quickly without waiting for the fog to lift, as the passengers and crew were frustrated by the delays. The KLM flight taxied out first. The Pan Am jet was scheduled to take off after the KLM and was supposed to turn off the main runway onto a taxiway to free up the runway for KLM. Due to the fog, the Pan Am pilot missed the designated turn from the runway to the taxiway and was still on the runway searching for the next turning. KLM powered up to takeoff speed, only to emerge from a fog bank to see the Pan Am flight stopped squarely in the middle of the runway. The Pan Am crew opened up the jet's throttles and sharply turned left to avoid a collision, but the KLM flight was traveling too fast. Unable to stop, the KLM flight collided with the Pan Am jet at a speed of approximately 160 miles per hour.
God.
Both jets were ripped apart by the impact, and the full load of fuel on KLM 4805 ignited. The heats of the fires were so intense that it cleared the fog for approximately half a mile around the crash site. All 234 passengers and 14 crew members aboard the flights were killed. Oh, hold on. That was on one of the flights. So on the KLM
Jesus.
flight, 234 and 14 crew members, along with 326 passengers and 9 crew members aboard the Pan Am flight. 56 passengers and 5 crew members aboard Pan Am 1736 survived. Holy shit, dude. That is... I mean, yeah. I mean, like, if Walt is trying to downplay the severity of the Wayfarer flight crash, then, yeah, that works, I guess. I mean, damn.
I mean,
but
it's also it's like looking at someone who like a family member dies and they're like, yeah, but at least you still got like a mom and dad. It's like the motherfucker's still dead, dude.
Right.
Like it doesn't grief is not a pissing contest,
But I love it because you see the kids getting visually discomforted. Like, they're like,
yeah,
what the fuck is happening here? Like, what is he saying? And he says nobody on the ground was killed, neither plane was full. Like, what the fuck are these excuses, dude? Again, it's just him trying to downplay the severity of the disaster. He says, people move on. That's what humans do. We survive and we overcome. And like, Colin, we've brought up the definition of sociopath before, and the underlining definition of sociopath is someone who doesn't feel sympathetic for other people's plights, right? That's the...
The more we dig into Walter White, I kind of was like,
You're looking at me like, oh, I sympathize with that. Oh, man. But we're with the twins again, right? Dude, like every time these guys are on screen, I'm absolutely in awe again because they're forced, the writers and, the directors and stuff have to visually show us what's happening without any dialogue. So, like they change their clothes, they throw down their glasses, and they leave their car keys with his family. They're obviously preparing to disguise themselves for something, right? And like, did you piece together that they're preparing to cross the border?
No.
At this point? No?
No, I had no idea. I thought that maybe they were on their way to like a twins tournament where they would face off in the semifinals with the Shining Girls, and it's just like them in an arena, like wall running, like because they look like they're out of the Matrix.
Play with us, Danny.
Right, and then those two little girls just whip out like Glocks and start. No, as I was watching, I was like, that's pretty interesting that they ditch everything but and I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. They leave the boots. It's like, well, I guess there's not any shoes out of here. And then later on, when that kid points out the silver skull, I was like, okay, so there's some kind of I guess significance with that. But the interesting thing is just I don't know, it's almost like a religious thing of like shedding these earthly material stuff, these nice suits, the car keys, the sunglasses and stuff. I like that. It's kind of like stripping down to the essentials.
And just going like nomadic, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Walt drops Junior home, and this is the moment that I was telling you about. Walt Junior's frustrated. Just reminds me of like earlier on in the show when Junior was frustrated at Walt's refusal to accept the cancer treatment and just kind of like play dead, or just like lay down on the road and die. And Junior yells at Skyler, right? Wants her to talk to Walt out of the mouths of babes, says Marie. This is interesting. I actually really like Junior's approach here. Not, yelling at Skyler, but wanting Skyler and Walt to talk, right? Rather than this whole silent treatment, let's get the lawyers involved bullshit. It's so much more pragmatic and it's so much more grown up and adult than the way Skyler's, I guess, has gone about things. I really appreciate that from Junior.
Yeah, and I think that, the thing is she has the burden of truth and he doesn't. She is the one who's like, yeah, your dad is like a drug dealer. Maybe she's not 100%.
She hasn't confirmed anything. Yeah, she hasn't confirmed. Right. She suspects. Yeah. Right.
But anytime, like, if my better half, all of a sudden I found what was hiding $500,000 in cash, that I'm going to be like, there's nothing good about this, is there? like there's no, because I didn't know about this. We're not living in like a mansion or something, like, so this is not good. Something about this is
Hold
not
on,
great.
I'm just gonna text Lindsay. Just be like, hey, what's happening? Do you have
the Falcon has found the bogey. Move the bogey. So I think that she's kind of burdened with truth, and to him is so cut and dry. He's like, yeah, you just talk about it like adults. And it's like, I don't even really know everyone's like, so what are you doing? What's going on? She's like, I don't even really know what's going on. Because, she obviously hasn't confirmed anything with Walter. So it's like, I think that she knows, hey, I'm making a step in the right direction. Even though I don't have 100% of the facts, I'm still on the trail. She's not like piping hot, but she's pretty warm on that trail.
She's pretty close. I mean, like, her piecing together the marijuana and then Jesse, it's because I think, we'll get to the scene soon, but I think it's very telling that Walt decides to tell her right at that moment because she's like, that's the point of no return. You can't go ahead and lie to that. Like, you know what I mean?
That's the last match in the matchbook.
Right. There you go. And I think Marie's disguising her curiosity of wanting to know with the whole, I'm just trying to care for you. And Skyler sees it too, right? I mean, it's very transparent. And that Marie's just doing her big nose. She is, dude. There's no way
she is. But if my brother showed up and was just like with his kids or my sister, and was just like, yeah, I'm just getting a divorce. To be like, okay, well, what the fuck happened? Like, I'm not going to be like, you can't stay here unless you tell me stuff. But I'd be like, I mean, you got to tell me something eventually here, man. Just because I'm concerned.
Sure. But we know Marie. Like, we know Marie's a bit of a gossiper, right?
I was hoping between these two seasons she'd be picked up by a griffin and dropped in a volcano or something. But alas.
by
No,
a
I'm just
griffin.
Yeah. Something about griffins are just so funny to me. I don't know what it is. Just like
There's a
these,
scene
like,
in Family Guy with a griffin that's great.
Yeah, Danny and I used to quote that all the time, our other host. But yeah, I get it. Like, she's got a lot of stuff going on here, but she can only. It's not that she doesn't want to tell them what's going on. I don't even really think she knows what's going on. You know, she hasn't, like you said, she doesn't have everything locked in like airtight.
Yep, I agree. Therapy session. This is a heavy moment. A heavy moment. The counselor says, "Are you good enough to be okay with who and what you are?" And that is the underlying theme of this episode, I think. You know, if you were to whittle it down to one line, that's what it is. This all mirrors how Walt is feeling this episode, especially with what we just saw at the school. He's not okay with who he is, so he feels that he needs to disguise and deflect. And Jesse pokes the bear, right, by asking the counselor whether he ever really hurt someone. Jesse believes that the counselor's in no position to lecture, right, because he hasn't lost anyone. But oh no, that's not the case. We get the story of the counselor killing his daughter, which is fucking intense, right? July 18, 1992, high on cocaine and drunk, out of vodka at 4:42 and the store's closing at 5. He's arguing with his wife, trying to get her to go to the store. She's saying no. He's pissed and the clock is ticking, so he jumps in the truck, doesn't see his young daughter at the end of the driveway. And Jesse's response. We know that Jesse has a love for children, right? I mean, like, if it's anything that's going to kind of like ask him this question, how do you not hate yourself? It's going to be the death of a child, because that's who Jesse is. Jesse has this huge compassion for children. But the counselor says that he did hate himself. You know, he says that guilt and self-hatred accomplishes nothing. He had to let himself go through that process and out the other side to know that guilt and self-hatred accomplish nothing. It actually stands in the way of true change, says the counselor. I really like this, man. I think this is a really important moment for Jesse, because it stops him. Well, it's a stop in him blaming himself and feeling guilty, and that he might change for the better. You know, this is a show that's all about transformation. You know, not just for Walt, but for Jesse as well. This is not the same kid that we saw in season 1 in the first scene, who is fucking a big-titted blonde lady and, you know, just falls out of the fucking second-story window.
Right.
This is someone else entirely now. What do you think about this whole scene?
I liked it. I think this has actually some of the best shots in the whole episode, and this is all directed by Bryan Cranston as well.
Yeah.
I like all the lighting here. I think that with Jesse's probably only going to listen to somebody who's in his situation or a more extreme version of it. And he's not directly responsible for Jane's death. I mean, he kind of is, though. Like, he showed up and kind of brought this influence. He kind of brought the cancer like Walt has brought cancer to people, you know, spreading that. We've talked about that before on other episodes. Not literal cancer, but, you know. So I think that hearing this guy, it reminded me of apparently the guy who wrote First Blood, Rambo, the first, David Morrell, and he said that he was a teacher and he had all these Vietnam vets coming back and being like, well, who the fuck are you to like tell us shit? Because like you haven't seen what we've seen and blah blah blah. So that's what kind of like led him to write the book. So I kind of drew a comparison there. And as I was reading, I think the blonde haired girl that stands up in the assembly is Bryan Cranston's daughter. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that's her. I just was like reading the IMDb cast because I wanted to see who that counselor was. But it popped up Taylor Dearden credited as Taylor Cranston.
Yeah. And
I was like, oh no, come on. There's no way. It's like that he directed this, you know, I was like, he probably put her in like a cameo or something. I never would have guessed. Not a fucking look. I mean, yeah, she could be adopted for all I know.
I've just confirmed it. Parents, Bryan Cranston, Robin Gale did. There you go.
How about that?
Nice.
But yeah, I thought this was an interesting part for Jesse, and especially the first time that we see him, he's planting something. He has been nothing but like a consumer. He's like Galactus. He's done nothing but consume and destroy planets so far. And it's now that he's actually he's like Thanos after Infinity War.
Getting back.
Right.
The farmer.
Like, Right, exactly. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I like that. And I always love the quote. It's like, it's so much easier to destroy something than it is to build something. And I think that when you actually take the time to like plant stuff, you appreciate things a lot more. And I think that's a show don't tell, as you were saying, of where Jesse's at.
Well, I equate it to podcasting, right? I mean, like, it's much easier to hit play on a podcast than sitting down and record a podcast, right? I mean,
it's easier to like pick all of the shit apart about it too than it is to like, well, they did this right and this was good and blah blah blah.
Absolutely, yeah. So Skyler meets with Walt, right? Hands Walt divorce papers, and this absolutely upsets Walt. He says, "This is punitive. We're happily married. I am happily married." Again, really kind of like missing the forest for the trees here, right? I mean, like, this is not a happy marriage. In no way, shape, or form is this a happy marriage. Like, I mean, he does correct himself by saying, "I am happily married," but I mean, that's incorrect. You can't be happily married and the other person, be absolutely upset. That's not a happy marriage. It's just not.
Oh, yeah, and also like hiding this huge thing. It's just like, come on, dude. Like, you had a happy marriage. You had a pretty normal life.
Yeah.
But yeah, nah.
Skyler assumes that he's dealing drugs. This takes Walt by surprise. That even, dude, his response, he's just like, "What?" Like, that is barely believable. Like, like he that takes him by surprise so much that like what that he utters is, it's just like a desperation kind of like, I feel like it's reactionary. Like, it's a reactionary lie. Like, that he wasn't supposed to like let it out kind of thing.
Yeah. And especially when she actually is just like marijuana and he's like, she's like, cocaine. He's like,
right. But I mean, like, here we are, dude. Like, 2 full seasons and 1 episode later, finally Walt is confessing to methamphetamine.
I did not think it was going to come out like this either. I thought it was going to be this big thing and she's leaving and it's raining. And as she walks out the door, he's just like, "It's methamphetamine." And she's like, "What?" It's like, "I sell meth." And watch her just be like, oh my God. Like, I knew this point was eventually going to come, but it was almost like anticlimactic. But I had built it up in my head, and that's my fault. But this is so much more like grounded and realistic and tangible. When she's like, I got to get out of here. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I would do. I'd be like, I gotta go sit down, dude. This is like, I had a friend of mine, quick story. I had a friend of mine in high school. Spent a bunch of time at his house growing up, me and Danny, a bunch of our friends, and gave me my first job. Really, 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 really lovely guy, still is. And one day in high school, someone's like, "Hey, did you hear about so-and-so's dad?" I mean, we stayed over there all the time. If I was not home, I was pretty much there. And we were like, "Hey, did you hear about so-and-so's dad?" It's like, "No." And he's like, "He was like high on cocaine or crack or something and fell asleep at the wheel and hit a brick mailbox."
Jesus.
And like totaled his car, had to go to the hospital, got a divorce, like blah, blah. And it was like, holy shit. And that was just like, I mean, I was not even directly affected by that. So if my significant other was like, "Yeah, I cook methamphetamine and sell it and shit," it's like, I'd probably have a panic attack, dude. I'd probably lose your whole life. It's like a fucking lie.
Hyperventilating. Dude, it's like, forget the fact that your brother-in-law's a DEA agent, right? Like, I mean, forget that fact, right? Like, not only do you have this hanging over your head, but the potential deaths of people, like, I don't know, man. Like, this, it's a lot. It's a lot to handle. And Skylar, we know, is a very emotional person. She's
well,
she
very... I'm just kidding.
she does have a vagina, so there you go. Ooh, we've lost all of our listeners. But like, again, underlying the theme of this episode, which is not accepting what you are, Walt says here, "I'm actually a manufacturer, not a dealer." Right? I mean, like, it's fucking poetic, dude.
It's like Futurama. I love. They're like, he's technically correct, the best kind of correct. I was like, yeah. I mean, literally, he just doesn't know when to be like, yeah, fuck it, let's just stick with that.
Yeah. But Skylar says she won't tell Hank or the kids if Walt agrees to sign the divorce papers. I mean, yeah. I mean, like, how else did Walt think this was going to go? I mean, So Walt picks Jesse up from rehab. He says, when he brings him home, right, he says, a little friction in the marriage. We're just taking a little break. Again, just downplaying the severity of events. Very Walt in this episode. Jesse claims he's better, but I love Aaron Paul's performance here. Like, it looks like he's just gliding through, like he's just standing still. It's really subtle, like acting, but I really, really appreciate it from Aaron Paul. Jesse asks about the plane crash, and he starts to blame himself. Walt reassures Jesse, telling him he's not responsible, blames a litany of other things to make him feel better about himself. No, I really blame the government, says Walt. So he becomes a COVID denier, basically.
Yeah.
But Jesse says you either run from things or you face them. It's about accepting who you are. I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, and how young he looks here. He looks, he's clean shaven. He has age appropriate clothing that fits him. It's like, okay, so you definitely tell this is not the same guy, but I like the almost kind of glow that he's in. His skin looks, he's always had bags under his eye. Yes, yeah. Like he's always kind of looked a little haggard, or haggardly. Hagrid. But what I like is with Walter, he's sitting in this really harsh light, and it's like, I like the fact that it's almost like he's in like this spotlight right now. It's like this big bright light on him, but Aaron's kind of like these cool, darker colors on him. I noticed that, and just his demeanor, it's just so like, you poor bastard. Like, you have no idea. It's like it's almost like he pities Walter in the scene. He's like, you have no idea.
I'm the bad guy, says Jesse. I mean, like, that is sad beyond so many fucking levels, because like now he's taking on the 170 deaths of Wayfarer. Like, like he's taking that on his shoulders too. And Walt's not going to be at any point be like, no, like, hey, maybe not, like he does say that it's not your fault, but like, it does, like, it's just a quick line, like it's done, like it's sorted, like, and then he blames the government. Like, no, that's not how you deal with this, Walt. So Walt's at Lost Point. Oh, sorry, did you want to talk? Well,
I was also going to say, I think that they're both, in a way, if we look at Walt and say, hey, you are responsible for all these deaths, then you have to look at Jesse and say, well, you're also responsible for bringing drugs into this person's life, and like the ricochet effect of what happened.
The snowball effect, yeah.
Right. So I think they both did a crossroads where Jesse's like, yeah, I introduced drugs to her. She died from that. And then all these people died in turn from this guy's job. But with Walter, it's like he has to, like, he publicly, he really has nobody knows that he watched Jane die, but it's like you have to be the one to, like, yeah, he might have introduced it, but like you could have really like physically prevented something from happening. It's like, Jesse's is I'm not saying it's better, but it's not as bad as that, Yeah, the lesser of two evils. So Walt's at Los Pollos Hermanos. He meets with Gus, who makes him an offer. I just fucking love Giancarlo Esposito, man. Like, is the food to your liking? Like, dude, he's so good. Walt goes to decline. He says, I owe you the courtesy and respect to tell you this personally. I find you extraordinarily professional. I'm just making a change in my life. I'm at something of a crossroads, and it's brought me to a realization. I am not a criminal. I just love how I was like, oh, no offense to criminals. Like, yeah.
What?
Well, the irony of you fucking up like the words total professional were not lost on me.
I know. Fuck.
As soon as you started, I was like, God, it's so.
I don't know. I don't know what's happened to me this morning. Like I'm having some real trouble with enunciating words today.
Oh, dude, I can't. I can't talk like this when I first wake up, because I have to be at work at 6 a.m. and like I don't say a word until like 8:45. I'm like, okay, hey, I'm here.
Do not converse with me.
Right. Still waking up. Shut up.
So Gus is adamant, though, right? He lays out the proposal: $3 million for 3 months of Walt's time, and of course, this catches Walt off guard, right? $3 million. But ultimately, he decides to decline, citing family reasons and that he has more money than he knows how to spend.
I thought, I know this is going to sound crazy. I thought it would have been more, to be completely honest. I mean, 3 million and three. I mean, he's got to split that with Jesse, so it's 1.5 and 3
He's lowballing him. I mean, we come to know and find out exactly how much what Gus is making from this operation.
Well, also he has a franchise of restaurants. It's like, dude, come on. 3 million in 90 days is insane. That's absolutely crazy. But at the same time, it's like, that what he's reaping is 10, 20 times that,
Probably more from memory. I mean, but also how is Gus laundering this? I mean, I know he's got 7 restaurants or something, but it's going to take him years to launder all that money. So he must have other businesses set up, and I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in Mexico, right? With this coyote, he's smuggling illegals across the border. This one kid saying he knows that they're officially in Texas because he recognizes the 3 big bumps. And of course, this tips off the twins who think that, hey, we no longer need anybody here because we're officially in Texas. The kid seemingly recognizes the death's head skull on the twins' boots. And I'm wondering, Colin, what do you think about this? I'm wondering if does the kid back away because the twins' reputation kind of precedes them, or is the death's head does that mean something in Mexican culture?
I'm not sure. I assumed it was the death's head. Just seeing that on the shoes and being like, oh, hey, what's that on your? Is that like a teardrop tattoo? Is it like a symbol?
I was wondering that because I wasn't sure. I was wondering if it's oh man, there's these twins who go around and they kill people and they wear boots with skulls on them. I was wondering if it was that or if it was a Mexican culture thing. So I actually think you're right. I actually think you're on the money that it might be a cultural thing. But yeah. So they kill everybody. They proceed to murder everybody and burn the truck behind them, dude. They are ruthless. Again, the introduction of the villains of this whole kind of in this episode of what's probably going to happen in season 3, really, really great. We get a real sense of this threat, right? And that Walt kind of stands no chance if they are coming for Walt. It's really, really well done. Their lack of communication is great because you have that one twin who's lighting the cigarette but notices in the background the driver's still crawling away, he's still alive. So the other brother goes and gets him. Oh, it's good stuff. I love it. Yeah.
I like this. And the fact that they don't even move when that thing explodes. It's that must have, again, that's your last match. But guys, it's going to take all day to clean up and set this up again if we have to do this. One take. Come on, dude. I wonder the logistics of those. Do they have earplugs in? They're just because the thing is, they're in the shadow of the smoke and you can see debris landing around them. And I was something tells me they were not supposed to be that close. Cause I know this is almost a 20-year-old show. Cause when did it start? 05, 06? 08,
I want to say.
Oh, 08. Never mind. My bad. So yeah, it's basically almost a 15-year-old show. But the crazy thing to me was watching all that shrapnel and stuff, and I was I don't know. Something tells me that there was a stunt coordinator who was oh my God. They're a little too close to that. Because imagine the heat from that shit.
Dude, I need to show you, and of course it's going to be him, but there is Michael Bay posted something on his Instagram feed. And it's just it's the behind the scenes of his new movie coming out. It's called Ambulance, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. Dude, huge explosions, cars crashing into each other. The crew are running towards the camera away. I need to show you this when we're done here on this episode because I want to see your reaction to this. But if anyone's listening, just go to Instagram, go to Michael Bay's profile. You'll see the explosion and what I'm talking about. It's crazy. And I love Michael Bay's need in the caption to write, "This was all controlled." Honestly, that's bullshit. I can't see that being controlled. But anyway, man, look, that's season 3, episode 1, No Mas.
Yeah.
A promising start to season 3 of a great show. We're excited to be back. This was fun. Had a lot of fun.
We're at the end of the first episode called No. So there's No Mas, No Mas. All right, I'll see you guys later. Just get up and leave.
We're fucking done. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here on Bad Crystal, a Breaking Bad podcast. Thank you for supporting us. Again, if you want to check out the socials, they're in the notes. They're in the notes of whatever app you're using. Please support us. Consider supporting us on Patreon. It's only $5 a month. It helps us out a lot. If you don't want to do that, rate and review us on iTunes. It helps us out just as much. Colin, do you have anything else to say before we head out of here?
Bye.